Colorado is going to try to bounce back this Saturday against Arizona. Obviously, a rough start to Pac-12 play. You concerned at all about this football team right now, Tyler?
I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of concern for sure, but I expected them to start 0-2, so I'm not panicking fully yet. I think Washington at this point looks like far and away the leader of the conference in terms of talent, so hard to read too much into that. I thought we played well in the first half and had chances. Last week it was kind of pretty much exactly what we expected. Close game on the road. Get a feel for what this team is going to do moving forward. I thought Steven Montez played really well, so that's a good sign moving forward. There's just a few things they got to iron out, and sometimes when you have a young quarterback, that's how it goes. I mean, they're still 3-2. There's still a lot of time left. They got a pretty easy stretch coming up comparatively with Arizona, Oregon State, and Cal, so they got to take advantage of those games for sure.
I would say even though Arizona's 2-2, they've been better than what most people expected them to be coming into the season. They have lost their 2 games to Houston and Utah, a couple good football teams, only by a combined touchdown in those 2 games. This offense is predicated on the run. They rank 8th in the country in that regard. They're in the 100s somewhere in terms of passing offense. So it's one-dimensional, but it's a tough dimension to stop.
Right. I mean, you don't need to pass the ball if you run the ball at the clip of 8th best in the country, right? I mean, that no one's really been able to stop them yet. I feel pretty good about CU's opportunity to do that, though. Usually if they just need to take one thing away, they do a pretty good job of that. And I think you can rely on this secondary a little bit to win some one-on-one matchups. So I think that's a good matchup for Colorado right now. Arizona's been good. They played a lot of close games. I mean, they've lost a lot of close games. They've also won 2 close games as well. So they're going to try to keep themselves in it. I think if you can get an early advantage on them, though, with a team that can pretty much only run the ball, it's going to be hard to catch up if you can take something away. So I think it's important for the Buffs to get off to a hot start.
Arizona has 2 backs that are averaging 57 yards per game, and then their quarterback is their leading rusher, Brandon Dawkins. Mike McIntyre has compared him to Colin Kaepernick. I wouldn't go quite that far, at least to the college version of Kaepernick. With him, he's got really good arm strength, but it seems like there's only one speed, and that's a fastball.
Right, and Colin Kaepernick was a lot more athletic, I think, overall, just in terms of pure speed. Similar arm strength, but Kaepernick was pretty accurate in college as well, so I wouldn't quite go that far with Brandon Dawkins. I think he's a guy that if you take away his strengths, he starts to pressure himself and makes mistakes, so something that I'd like to see the defense try to take advantage of.
This is a really young Wildcats team. They've got 27 freshmen that have played this season. 83 of their 120-man roster are underclassmen. Defensively, this team is the second most improved in the FBS ranks from last year's scoring defense to this year. Have you been impressed with that group? It seems like they've done well despite, similar to CU, not getting much of a pass rush.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely improved over last year. That's not really hard to do, though. They were pretty abysmal last season. They've definitely looked a lot better. They've got a young team, as you mentioned. Their secondary has got some weapons back there for sure. Need to get more of a pass rush, as you said, similar to Colorado. But I think it's going to be a game that's probably a little more grinded out than people are expecting right now, if I had to guess. Colorado's got to get the win, though, so we'll see how it plays out.
Arizona's had success before last year against Colorado since Colorado joined the Pac-12, but a couple of those times Colorado was suffering injuries at inside linebacker when they matched up with Arizona, and with that zone read attack, that's the recipe for disaster. So I expect this to be a different type of game. I'm surprised that Rich Rodriguez is in the hot seat. I know they only won 3 games last year, but they were decimated with injuries last year. And you look at what he did his first 4 years there. They averaged over 8 wins, 3 bowl wins, and they even have a Pac-12 South title in his tenure. Could Arizona really get a better coach than him?
Yeah, I mean, I think you always have to have that discussion when you talk about putting a coach on the hot seat. They've definitely gone downhill a little bit the last few years. I'm not sure if they're going to make a bowl game this year. They have an opportunity to, I guess. Towards the end of the year, they'll have to win a few down the stretch. But, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to remember where you came from, right? And I don't know who you're going to get at Arizona that's really going to improve on a Pac-12 South title every 6 or 7 years and, probably winning a bowl game half of your seasons. That seems pretty good to me. I would take that at Colorado more years than not as well. So, I mean, they're going to have to feel pretty confident they can get somebody that's a big upcoming name if they think they're going to get rid of Rich Rodriguez.
And I'd admit I'd actually be sad if he gets fired just because I enjoy his little tirades on the sideline. He acts like a 3-year-old half the time when things aren't going well for them. He's pretty entertaining. Last year, it looked a couple times like his head almost was ready to explode. In terms of this football game, Tyler, what's your prediction? How do you see it shaking out?
I think Colorado's going to get back on track a little bit here. I'm going to go with 31-17 Colorado. I think it's going to be a little more low scoring than people expect, and I think Colorado's defense can shut down Arizona's run game enough to come home with a pretty comfortable 2 touchdowns, something like that win.
With having the home field advantage, I feel like one of these games Colorado's going to really break out and blow out a team like Arizona, but it's hard to predict that right now just based off the offensive inconsistency. I will say they put up 34 points and beat Arizona 34-27. So we'll see if they can improve to 1-2, and then again going on the road to Oregon State the following week. Hope you enjoy the game.